Alright, for tonight's homework, I'm going to show you this substitution page where, again, once you have one of the variables isolated or solved for, the variable by itself tells you where in the other equation you're substituting, and what it's equal to tells you what you're plugging in there. So for that first one, 21, y is 5, already halfway solved. I'm going to plug that 5 into y in the other equation and solve for x. So here we go. So the negative x stays the same. Where that y used to be, I plug a 5, equal that 1. And then, of course, to solve that, take away 5 on both sides. Remember, when you have negative x equal to negative 4, that is not solved for yet. You need to divide everything by negative 1. You need to get that x positive. You cannot have a negative x in your answer. So dividing both sides by negative 1 will turn that x to positive, and of course turns that negative 4 to positive 4. So that answer is 4 for x and 5 for y. If I wanted to check that, y equals 5 is already the check. So y equals 5, looking at my point, that is true. So that part is already good. But if I plug in x and y into the other equation, so negative 4 because I'm plugging in x is 4 and a negative x, 5 plugs in for y. And if I do my math right, I should get a true statement, which that is 1 equals 1, which shows that that is a solution point. The next problem, I need again to solve one of the equations to get one of the equations solved for x or y. So I'm solving this one for y. That gives me half of my answer, and then all I have to do is take that number and plug it in to find out what x is. So I'm going to plug in 5 right into y in the other equation. So again, the y tells you where you're substituting, the 5 tells you what you're plugging in. So when I plug that in, I get 4x still, minus 2, and then a 5 right there where y used to be. And then I do the math there for x. So 4x minus 10 equals 50. I'm going to add 10 to both sides, which will give me 4x equals 60. Divide both sides by 4, and that will give me what x is. X is 15. And again, if I did that check, it would work. If I plugged in 5 for y, it would give me 10. If I plugged in 15 here and 5 here, it would give me 50. All right, the next problem. This one is already solved for. So again, y in the other equation is where I'm going to substitute. By mistake, showed plugged in for x, but you would not do that. You're going to plug in that x plus 8 into y in the other equation. So when I do that, x plus 8 is what I'm going to substitute. Where is y in the other equation? So when I rewrite that, I have x plus 8 right there where that y used to be, equal to 2x minus 5. And then that is a variables on both sides equation you need to know how to solve. So start by getting rid of the number on the left. On the right side, get rid of the variable term on the right. So you'll be subtracting 2x on both sides. And then again, you will get x minus 2x, which is negative 1x, equals negative 13. And again, that is not considered solved. You need to divide both sides by negative 1. And when you do, that will turn x positive, which is what you want. And then, of course, that turns that negative 13 to positive 13. So that answer for this problem is, for x is 13, and y is what I got to find out next. So I'm taking that 13, taking that, looks like that bottom equation right here. So where that x used to be, I'm going to plug in a 13 right there. That 8 is still there. And then when I add those up, that will give me the y number there. So that is 21. Point 13, 21. Make sure you plug in x in the x coordinate, y in the y coordinate spot. All right, 22. This problem, they're giving you x. X is already solved for, so again, take that x, substitute it into x in the other equation. So 5 times 8 plus 2y equals 0. That will give me 40 plus 2y. And then to solve for y right there, I take away 40 on both sides. That gives me 2y equals negative 40. And then right there, I divide both sides by 2. And that gives me y equals negative 20. So that point is 8 for x, negative 20 for y. All right, second to last problem. This one, again, I need to solve one of the equations for x or y. So I'm going to solve this one for x. It gives me x equals 4. I'm going to take that 4 and I'm going to substitute it into x in the other equation. So where that x used to be, I'm going to plug in a 4. That original 4 is still going to be there, only that x number changes. Minus y equals 5. That'll give me 16 minus y equals 5. Need to subtract 60 on both sides. And then again right here, negative y is not considered solved. You need to divide both sides by negative 1 to get that y positive by itself. And that gives you y equals positive 11. And of course, you could check that if you plugged in x and y. All right, last problem. Solving that equation for x right there. Again, you need to solve one of the equations for x or y. So I'm going to solve that for x. Gives me x equals 3. Take that 3, plug it into x in the other equation. So 5, where that 3 used to be, I plug in, or x used to be, I plug in a 3. So that gives me 15 plus y equal to negative 5. So I did a little bit of magic there, so I'm going to fix that. Take away 15 both sides. We'll give you a y equals negative 20. All right. I hope this helped you watching this video. Again, substitution. Get one of the variables solved for. That variable solved for tells you where in the other equation you're plugging in, and then what it's equal to tells you what you're taking and plugging in. Make sure your answer always has the correct x number and the y number in the coordinate locations. You don't want to mix that up. All right, good luck.